Hello again, YouTube. Medicine here. As you can see, we're having a tea party. That's right, I got Amnice and Momo here, and this is in honor of my brand new segment called BJD and a cup of tea. Today's tea is Earl Grey. If you stick around after I'm done talking about all the doll stuff, I will have a little bit of information about Earl Grey at the end of this video. So feel free to stick around and watch that if you're interested. Now, a little bit about why I decided to do this segment. Have you guys heard of a Sinva BJD? You haven't? Well, she's fantastic. You need to go check her out. I will put a link to her YouTube channel down in the description area. Sinva is fantastic. You go to her site, she has tons of videos about her experience with the BJD hobby. And from getting her first ball jointed doll, which is Kai, a resin cell gang, to obitsus and hujos and reviews about all kinds of things that are related to the hobby. So be sure to check her out. She's actually the reason I started doing YouTube videos about ball jointed dolls. She has a segment on her YouTube channel called Tea Time Talk, BJD Tea Time Talk. And that's actually what got me watching her channel, because I love tea, as you can see. And I was just starting to get into the hobby for BJDs. I was just looking at getting my first doll when I stumbled across a Sinva's BJD Talks. And that's when I was hooked. I think she's fantastic. She's the founder of the BJD Addicts group on YouTube. They also have a group on Facebook and DeviantArt. So if you are on any of those sites, be sure to check out BJD Addicts. It's a great place to join other people who are in the hobby, who are interested in ball jointed dolls, and just kind of be part of a community. Even though we're from all over the world, it's great to see and hear from other people and see what other people have experienced with ball jointed dolls. So be sure to check all of those out. Again, I'll put the links in the description below. Now, on to the topic at hand. Today I want to discuss white resin in dark clothing. Amnice is a Doll Zone Orlando white skin. Momo is a Doll Zone normal pink skin, Momo. And so I haven't had any problems with Momo, and she's wearing a Pookie outfit. But with Amnice and her white skin, I've noticed that she gets dirty quite easily. Her white resin gets kind of dirty every now and then. It's not that big of a deal. A little soap and water usually gets it right up. A magic eraser obviously will do the trick as well. But her default outfit, which is not the outfit she's wearing, is a black outfit. And it came from Doll Zone. It's gorgeous. It fits her character. That dark clothing actually runs. The dye ran on her resin. And that's my fault because I didn't even think about it. But you should wash your clothes first. It's my disclaimer and my tip for today: wash your dark clothing when you get it. Especially if you have a white skin doll, because for some reason they attract just dirt. I washed it, and I'll actually show you guys a little clip on what I did when I washed those clothes and how that turned out. Magic clip. I let my clothing, my doll clothing, soak in that solution for about 4 hours now, almost 5 hours. And I've changed the water out once in the process. And look at that. You see that? This is the water from my clothes. It's almost the same color as my clothes. It's like almost pitch black, guys. That is some dirty water. And my clothes still look great. They're still dark. I don't see any fading in the clothing. I'm not really worried about fading in the clothing. I just want to get the excess dye out, because that dye in that water is what's been running on my Amnice. White skin resin does not like that dye in that water. That's pretty bad. The water was pitch black, almost as black as the clothes, as you saw in the video. So I made sure to wash those. She wore the the clothing after I washed it and soaked it to a convention for about 3 days. And when I got her home and changed her out of her clothes, she had like black and yellow. She had a big, giant black and yellow bruise. It looked like a bruise. That's how it looked, like a real bruise on her arm. And she looked like she had been beat up. So instead of freaking out and panicking, I took a handy-dandy toothbrush and some Dawn dish soap, and I just scrubbed her down. I gave her a nice little clean bath. When I disassembled her after first realizing that the dark clothes stains, and washed her with a toothbrush and some Dawn dish soap, and that pretty much got most of it out. And whatever was stubborn little stains in the crevices of some of her joints, I took a magic eraser and got those out with. And what I ended up doing is coating her with some Mr. Super Clear UV Cut clear coat, because I wanted to make sure to get her that UV protection on her white resin, because I heard that white resin yellows quicker, and I want her to stay white as long as possible. It's an investment that I want to protect and take care of. So I'm not extremely worried about yellowing. If she yellows eventually, then that's understandable. I understand that that just happens with age. But I will do what I can to prevent that from happening as long as I can. Now, I had her taken apart. I restrung her. But while I had her apart, I went ahead and coated every single place, even the joints. And I went ahead and gave her some body blushing. I kind of mentioned that in my last video. But I gave her some body blushing on her hands and other areas of her body, pretty much like head to toe. Well, except for her face. I didn't have to do that because it came like that. But I gave her a body blushing and coated her several times with the UV cut. A little bit goes a long way with that, guys. It's great. So I didn't want to mess up the blushing. I heard that the magic erasers can actually remove face-ups, so that's why it's not recommended to use them on the face. So I'm thinking if it can remove a face-up, which should be coated, then it can remove blushing, body blushing. And I really don't want to take something that abrasive to her skin when she's dirty if I can help it. So I thought, well, why not just use a nice washcloth or a toothbrush and some soap and see if that gets it up. And it did. It cleans her up right up. There's some places deeper in her joints that I might need to take her apart and get at. But for the most part, she looks fine. You can't even tell that she was covered in black and blue marks from the convention. But I love her clothes. I'm not going to worry about it, especially now that she's coated in the UV cut. That Mr. Super Clear actually provides a layer between the resin and her clothing. So if it gets dirty, it's not the resin that's getting stained, it's the clear coating. So if I do decide to just remove her completely and make her blink again, I can do that and she'll be brand new. At least that's, in theory, she'll be brand new. I'm not really going to test that out. But that's pretty much it about the white resin and the dark clothes. Make sure you wash your clothing. If you have dark clothing, wash it before you put it on your doll, just as a precaution. I think the different fabric and material probably makes a big difference. Like I said, Momo's been wearing her Pookie Pookie outfit since she got it, since I got her, and she hasn't had any staining problems at all. Granted, it's not dark black like Amnice's clothes were, but it's a different material. You know, just precautions. Wash your clothes and enjoy your doll. You don't want to spend your whole time cleaning your doll. So try to do whatever you can at the beginning, and that's my experience. If you've had any other experience with dark clothes or white resin, or any type of resin for that reason, and with any kind of dyes running on your dolls, let me know. You know, do a video response or write a comment, and just let me know what your experiences are, and if you've encountered anything and have any tips that I might be able to use for future clothes if I decide to get her more dark clothing. That's everything that I have to talk about. So thanks for tuning in. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments or video responses. And like I said, make sure to check out Asimba BJD. Check out her channel. And be sure to check out the BJD Addicts channel as well. And their pages on DeviantArt and Facebook. And I look forward to seeing you guys and hearing from you. Bye-bye! BJD and a cup of tea. Momo, it's BJD and a cup of tea, and not BJD in a cup of tea. Silly. Today's tea is the delicious, fragrant Earl Grey black tea. Black tea is best served with boiling water. The kettle is getting hot and getting ready. It has got a little steam coming out. Don't know if you could see that in the camera. Oh, you might be able to see it in the camera. Once it starts whistling, that's when we're going to pour the water in the cup. Now, a little bit about Earl Grey. Earl Grey is a black tea blended with the natural oil of bergamot for a delicate aroma and an orange citrus flavor. Bergamot itself is actually from Italy. The tea that is in this particular cup is harvested from India. It's one of the world's most popular teas, named after a British Prime Minister, Charles Grey, who is the Earl of Howick. Legend has it that the then exotic tea and recipe were given by a grateful man whose life the Earl had a hand in saving. And thus, we have Earl Grey, one of the world's popular black teas, and why it is called Earl Grey, from the famous Charles Grey, Earl of Howick. Sip some tea. Earl Grey. I know, this isn't a cup of tea that you wanted. You'd prefer it to be a cup. I'll make you one. One of these days, I will make you a tea mug, okay? I will make you a teacup. Momo, you're too tiny. I don't think you can drink tea yet. You can just play in the teacup like you're doing. That's fine.